Hi, I'm Roy from Roy's Garage. Today I'm going to be working on a 1991 Toyota Tercel 1.5 liter standard shift. I'm going to show you how to replace the clutch master and the clutch slave. These are the tools I'm going to be using today to do this job. Two different lengths of 3/8 ratchets. Going to be 5 different lengths of a 3/8 extension. This is a 3/8 universal, 10 millimeter crow feet wrench, 12 millimeter universal, 12 millimeter socket, another 12 millimeter socket, 10 millimeter socket, 13 millimeter wrench, 10 millimeter wrench, 8 millimeter wrench, long nose plier, a standard plier, small water pump plier, air gun, white grease, and some anti-seize. These are the parts I'm going to be using today to do this job. This is a clutch master cylinder. I'm using this Rhino pack, part number M1652, and a clutch slave, Rhino pack S1650, and .3 brake fluid. So I'm going to be replacing this clutch master. This is in front of the driver, right next to the brake booster. So first we're going to be moving some of these wires out of the way. So I'm going to be disconnecting this guy, just to move the wires out of the way. So now the steel brake tubing, we're going to have to remove it. Okay, so now we're going to be going under the dash and unbolting the clutch master from the firewall. Okay, we're going to be disconnecting the push rod from the brake pedal. So this spring, we got to remove this spring. And there's a pin over here. I got to pull this pin out, this lock. Now we're going to be removing the 2 bolts that bolt the master to the firewall. Okay, so there's 2 bolts we got to remove. One is going to be over here, and one of them is going to be up in there. It's really hard to get to, but you can get to it. The one that's up here, you have to go from the back side to get to the bolt. Okay, so we got to loosen up the brake booster. There's 4 bolts that holding on the booster. One here, one there, one up there, and then one over there. So we're going to loosen it up. We're going to have to move the brake booster forward to get the clutch master out, because a part of the clutch master is behind the booster. So I'm going to be moving the brake booster over to the side so I can pull the clutch master out. I'm going to be removing this air intake because the clutch slave is right below, so it's going to give me more access to getting to the clutch slave. So going to be installing a new clutch slave, then we're going to be installing the new clutch master. Because if I install the clutch master now, and when I disconnect the slave, all my brake fluid is just going to come right out. So we're going to be removing this brake clutch master tubing from the slave. So we're going to be removing these two bolts. So I'm going to add a little white grease onto my fork. So I'm going to be installing my slave. Then I'm going to be connecting this tubing to the slave. So I put some anti-seize on my bolts. Now we're going to bolt it up. So we're tightening up the tubing. So we're going to be bleeding this clutch master out of the vehicle. So I clamped it in a vise. So I'm going to be adding some fluid right in. This is just to get it started. And then we're going to pump it. Just hold it. I'll pump it. Hold it. Let it go slowly. Let it go. Pump it. And hold it down. Okay, that should be good. I'm going to top it off. Put this cover on. Now we're going to install the clutch master. Okay, this is the old master. If yours has a gasket, transfer this to the new master. Okay, we're going to be installing the master. So I'm gonna be connecting the clutch tubing. I'm gonna be tightening up the booster to the firewall. Okay, so now we're gonna be bolting up the clutch master to the firewall. Okay, so now we're gonna be putting the pin in. So we're gonna be putting in this lock. Now we gotta adjust the free play. So in order, you gotta get about 1/8 to about 1/4 inch of free play. And from what you do, in order to achieve that, you gotta either lengthen or shorten this rod. And then we lock up the bolt. And then we're going to put the spring back on. So now I'm going to be tightening up this tubing that goes to the clutch master. Okay, so make sure your clutch master is full of fluid. So now we're going to gravity bleed the system. So this clutch master, I'm going to be opening up the bleeder screw. Just opening it up. And then hopefully gravity will push all the air out, and then you'll have brake fluid coming out of the slave. Might take a little while. If you cannot gravity bleed it, then what you need to do is somebody got to go into the car and pump the clutch. So what they got to do is push the clutch down. We got to get the air out. Push the clutch down, and then we're going to have to lock up the slave, the screw. Okay, release the clutch. Okay, pump it again. Now we're going to open up the bleeder screw. Okay, let it go. Okay, pump it again. Okay, let go. Okay, hold it. Okay, let go. So keep doing that until the brake fluid comes out clean. And then when it comes out nice and clean, then you just lock it up. So I'm going to be topping off the clutch master. Okay, I'm going to be shooting some water on my connections. because brake fluid is water soluble. And we're blowing it down with air. So I'm going to be holding this clutch pedal down. Just hold it for maybe about 20 seconds or so. What you're doing is you're pressurizing the system, and then right after that we're going to be checking our connections for leaks. Okay, the master side looks dry. Now we're going to check the slave. Slave side looks dry. So now we're going to be putting on the air intake tube. Putting some anti-seize on the bolts. So don't forget to connect these wires. And you're good to go. So that's how you replace a clutch master and a clutch slave. If you have any questions, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, give me the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Aloha.